Story 1. The Stanley Hotel, The Shining Nightmare. If there is one hotel that embodies both the early 20th century elegance of America and an unsettling aura so haunting that it inspired Stephen King's legendary horror novel The Shining, it is none other than the Stanley Hotel in Colorado. Originally built as a luxurious retreat for the elite, over the past century, it has become infamous for ghostly tales and paranormal events. This raises a chilling question. Is the Stanley merely a historic architectural landmark? Or is it truly a place where human memories and lingering spirits refuse to leave, creating an otherworldly allure? Just 2 years after its grand opening, a gas explosion in room 217 sent housekeeper Elizabeth Wilson flying from the second floor. She survived, but the room has since become the epicenter of countless ghost stories. Guests claim their luggage arranges itself neatly, a woman's figure flickers in the mirror, or an invisible presence separates unmarried couples who share the bed. It's as if Mrs. Wilson's spirit never stopped working, even after her body departed this world. In 1974, as the hotel stood nearly empty before its winter closure, Stephen King and his wife, Tabitha, checked into the Stanley. One eerie night, King dreamed of his son being chased down the long corridor by a giant fire hose. The nightmare was so vivid that he awoke in terror, and in that instant, the idea for The Shining was born. The freezing silence, endless hallways, and suffocating sense that something isn't right fused themselves into King's imagination, forever tying the Stanley to horror history. Beyond room 217, the hotel is riddled with paranormal hotspots. The Vortex, a grand spiral staircase, is believed to be a portal for spirits, with visitors reporting sudden chills and photographs capturing translucent figures climbing the steps. On the fourth floor, ghostly children's footsteps echo. In room 428, a mysterious cowboy materializes in mirrors. And within the concert hall, a piano plays its own ghostly notes, though no one sits at the keys. Together, these stories reinforce the belief that the Stanley preserves not just memories, but restless souls. Today, the Stanley is more than just a hotel. It is a pilgrimage site for paranormal seekers. Haunted tours, horror film festivals, and a theater that plays The Shining year-round transform it into a spiritual landmark for those drawn to the supernatural. The name Stanley has transcended its identity as a mere lodging. It has become a symbol of the blurred line between history and legend, between the real and the spectral. The Stanley Hotel proves that some buildings are not sustained by stone and timber alone, but by immortal memories and ghostly imprints. The explosion of room 217, Stephen King's nightmare, and the chilling testimonies of countless guests all weave together into a narrative both captivating and terrifying. Whether one views it with skepticism or with absolute belief, one truth remains undeniable. The Stanley has been, is, and will forever be a place where past and present converge, where human fear takes form in eternal phantoms. Story 2. The Queen Mary, the haunted ship adrift on the ocean. In the maritime history of the 20th century, some ships became famous for their luxury, others for tragedy, and a few for the supernatural. Among them, none stand out more than the RMS Queen Mary. Once hailed as the Grey Ghost during World War II, today it is renowned worldwide as the haunted ship. From an engineering marvel of the British Empire to a vessel whispered to be a doorway between the living and the dead, the Queen Mary is said to host hundreds of restless souls. But what truly transformed this ocean liner into one of the most haunted places on Earth? Launched in 1936, the Queen Mary was a symbol of British pride and opulence, the grandest transatlantic liner of its time. Its ballrooms, red-carpeted corridors, and gold-trimmed dining rooms catered to aristocrats, Hollywood stars, and political leaders. Yet, when World War II broke out, the ship was painted gray and repurposed as a troop carrier, earning the nickname the Gray Ghost. Thousands of soldiers marched across its decks, many never returned. It is believed that the suffering, sacrifice, and death of wartime imprinted a shadow on the ship, seeding the paranormal activity that endures to this day. One of the darkest chapters occurred in 1942 when the Queen Mary accidentally sliced the escort ship HMS Curacoa in half, killing over 300 sailors. Because of wartime protocol, the Queen Mary could not stop to rescue them, leaving their cries swallowed by the ocean. Even now, visitors claim to hear screams and pounding sounds against the hull, as if echoes of the drowning still reverberate from beneath the waves. Within the ship itself, tragedy also struck. Boiler Room 13 is infamous after a young sailor was crushed to death by a watertight door. Guests have reported hearing the screech of metal, seeing fleeting figures in uniforms, and feeling sudden bursts of icy air. At the first-class swimming pool, once the pride of the Queen Mary, phantom women in vintage bathing suits and the laughter of children have been witnessed. Though the pool has been drained for decades, today the Queen Mary rests permanently in Long Beach, California, operating as a hotel and museum. Yet not every cabin is fit for the faint-hearted. Cabin B340 has earned a reputation as the ship's paranormal epicenter. Guests have fled in terror after experiencing bed covers pulled away, relentless knocking at the door, and even shadowy figures sitting at the foot of the bed. For years, the cabin was sealed shut, reopened only for the bravest thrill-seekers. What sets the Queen Mary apart is the sheer volume of evidence. Photographs capturing shadowy figures in dim corridors, EVP recordings of disembodied voices, and countless eyewitness accounts from tourists, staff, and paranormal investigators alike. Famous TV shows like Ghost Hunters and Most Haunted have filmed here, with investigators describing the unsettling sensation of being watched by hundreds of unseen eyes. Today, the Queen Mary is both a historical landmark and a stage for the paranormal. Night tours guide visitors through its haunted boiler rooms, abandoned pool decks, and the notorious Cabin B340. Horror filmmakers, writers, and supernatural enthusiasts alike draw inspiration from this legendary ship. The Queen Mary is a paradox made flesh, from luxury to tragedy, from pride to dread. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the sheer weight of stories, testimonies, and recorded phenomena have cemented its reputation as one of the world's most haunted vessels. The lingering question remains: is the Queen Mary merely a relic of history, or a place where restless souls refuse to let go? Story 3. Cecil Hotel. Darkness in the heart of Los Angeles. In the bustling center of Los Angeles stands a building that once promised glamour, but is now infamous for mystery and death: the Cecil Hotel. Opened in 1927 as a beacon of prosperity, the hotel was meant to embody luxury. Yet over the decades, it transformed into something far darker, a place tied to serial killers, unexplained deaths, and whispered hauntings. From Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, to the tragic disappearance of Elisa Lam, the Cecil has cemented its reputation as America's most haunted hotel. When it first opened, the Cecil boasted 700 rooms for businessmen and elite travelers, but the Great Depression of the 1930 seconds quickly dragged it into decline. Its location near Skid Row, an area rife with homelessness, drugs, and crime, turned the once grand hotel into a haven for society's forgotten and dangerous. In this shadowed environment, tragedy flourished. The Cecil's darkest notoriety comes from the killers who once walked its halls. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. In the 1980 seconds, Ramirez stalked California with a reign of terror, committing brutal murders, Though no killings occurred inside the hotel, Ramirez often returned to the Cecil after his crimes, as if the place itself absorbed his darkness. Jack Unterweger. In 1991, the Austrian serial killer checked in at the Cecil. He murdered multiple women in Los Angeles during his stay, deepening the hotel's association with violence. Such grim coincidences fueled the legend that the Cecil is cursed, a magnet for evil. But killers were not the only stain on its history. The hotel earned the nickname the Suicide Hotel after decades of deaths. From the 1,930 seconds to the 1,960 seconds, countless guests leapt from its windows, their bodies striking the sidewalks below with terrifying regularity. Then came the case that burned the Cecil into global memory: the death of Elisa Lam, 2013. The Canadian student vanished while staying at the hotel. Security footage captured her in an elevator, behaving erratically, pressing buttons, peeking into the hallway, gesturing as though speaking to someone unseen. The footage went viral, chilling millions. Weeks later, her decomposing body was discovered in the hotel's rooftop water tank. Guests had unknowingly been drinking and bathing in the contaminated water. To this day, theories rage. Was it mental illness, murder, or something otherworldly? Locals and visitors alike insist the Cecil is alive with ghostly energy. Guests report footsteps in empty halls, knocks at their doors at midnight, and shadowy figures disappearing into darkness. Paranormal researchers argue that places saturated with suffering can trap energy, the Cecil becoming a vessel for spirits that cannot move on. The hotel's reputation has fueled countless works of art and media. Most famously, American Horror Story Hotel drew direct inspiration from its legacy. Documentaries, podcasts, and crime series continued to dissect its tragedies, cementing the Cecil as an icon of urban horror. Today, though the hotel has been shut down and redeveloped, its legacy lingers. The Cecil is no longer just a building, it is a mirror reflecting society's darkest truths: poverty, violence, despair, and the mysteries we cannot explain. And the question remains, is the Cecil simply a stage for tragedy? Or has it truly been cursed, a home for restless souls that refuse to leave? Hotels are meant to offer rest, yet some, like the Stanley Hotel, the haunted Queen Mary, and above all, the Cecil, conceal secrets of death and darkness within their walls. They remind us that some doors are never meant to be opened. If you want to keep uncovering strange cases and hidden horrors, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next file may reveal secrets closer to home than you think.